These psychedelics, the medicinal value, I believe, is putting us in that part of the brain where a person can really find truth.
I'd love to talk about psychedelics with the preface that
Yes.
we're talking about this in a legal clinical setting.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on these drugs for therapeutic potential, also potential hazards, et cetera?
The data coming from the labs and the academic centers is so powerfully positive. These are used in professional hands and with the right kind of guidance are extremely powerful tools, but used in the right way. What happens is we see less communication or less chatter in the outer parts of the brain, right? In the outer parts of the cortex. That's where language is, that's where vision is, that's where executive function is, so planning and task execution. So much of that is about making our way in the world around us. And I think when we take the neurotransmission out of those places, right, and we set it in a part of the brain and say the insular cortex, right, the parts of the brain that are sort of in the middle, right, which I believe is where our humanness really is. So the psychedelics make there be less chatter, communication in these other parts of the brain, and then we become seated in the part of the brain that I believe is most about our experience of true humanness. You know, it's why people can sort of see with clarity that, oh, that trauma, that thing is not my fault. Right? Like we feel a sense of compassion for ourselves. We release ourselves from guilt. And it's like, why is this so helpful to people? And I think it's because it can do what we are trying to get at in good therapy, but it can really catalyze that by just putting a person in that part of the brain that can see it for what it is without all that chatter in the cortex about, hey, you got to think it's your fault or you won't avoid it again. And these psychedelics, the medicinal value, I believe, is putting us in that part of the brain where a person can really find truth.